Well, good evening and welcome to Wednesday Nights with Grubbs at E. And man, I am excited about tonight. I know that people think that we're excited every week, but I am super excited about tonight. And you know why?
Why's that?
We have big news tonight.
Well, let me tell them a little bit about this big news.
Yeah,
How about it?
Well, before you do,
Okay.
I think we need to kind of let them be update, know how to connect with us.
Well, more than likely, you've got people that are tuning in right now, and they've probably missed the first 30 seconds, and so we need to allow people to get in, join,
that's right.
join in. So for the meantime, if you are with us, we're glad that you're here tonight.
Absolutely.
We want to connect with you. Again, if you've joined us before, or if this is your first time, there's an easy way to do that. You can scan this block
right here with a lot of squirrely lines.
I forgot what it's called. A QR code. QR code. I forget. I just had a mental block.
Hey, that's okay.
For this block.
I scan the block.
And that'll give you access to our digital bulletin for the week, also to just being able to connect with us with questions, or maybe there's a ministry need.
Yeah.
And what else does it give you access to?
Yeah, actually.
Let's see if we can go back there.
Yeah.
Also, online giving as well.
Yeah, that's right. Is online giving on there?
It is. Right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. What, were you trying to switch it
I
up?
thought there was another screen that's going to pop up.
We have this new screen, so you actually have to do the touch. So you watch this, and then it'll come over there. Like you got to hit it right there.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Ways to give. That's what I was thinking about.
High tech.
That is high tech. So you drop that off. You can give online, or you can mail your gift. But hey, seriously,
we've got it figured out.
Yeah, we appreciate people giving. It's because you give, we're able to do ministry. We're able to kind of bring this great international show to you every single week. So,
hey, listen, we've almost got our lines open for you to call. Do we want to go into the?
You ready for the big news? Are you ready for the big news?
All right. Well, here it is. Big news for this week.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
But before we do that, there's not as big of news as far as church-wide, but there's some other news that we need to talk about, because this is the last few days that our student pastor, Hector Mojica, is single.
Wow.
This coming weekend, he's going to get married
into the world of love and marriage.
Yeah, and so, I think
almost started singing the song, but that would be a copyright
infringement. That's right. Well, I do feel like that we ought to give him some advice on love and marriage. What do you think?
I think that would be very helpful, not only to him, but obviously our audience tunes in to hear this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So look, without further ado, okay, here is advice with Hector for love and marriage. All right, man. Love and marriage, a little segment. You're about to leave the singleness.
Yes.
And marriage. What, you got any thoughts? Are you excited?
Oh yeah, I'm pumped. I'm ready to get married.
Do you have any clue of what you're supposed to do the next few days?
Yeah, I do. I got to pick up a tuxedo.
Okay.
And I got to drive to Cookeville where we're getting married. The rest, it'll fall into place.
That's all you're responsible for. There's nothing else that you have to do this week.
There's probably more. I've got to.
Do you have the wedding bands, or does she have the wedding bands?
I have the wedding bands. I retrieved those yesterday.
I'm feeling like you should probably make a list.
You
know how we have a list here for
That's a good idea.
this detailed show that we put on.
I am actually right now, and I know people
not anything on this.
do not know this, but I am texting you right now. Remember wedding bands.
That's right. But
I just texted you.
They're actually in my center console, so I can't leave them behind.
Okay, let me text you this. Lock your doors.
I'm sorry, Josie.
You just told the world where to find 2 wedding bands before you get married.
I was joking.
Yeah.
I wasn't joking.
Well, we thought we'd give you a little bit of advice, and our off-camera staff is all female. And so as we give advice, we may look off camera to see if they approve or not.
Gotcha. That'll be good.
They may have some advice they want to throw our way.
You're going to learn me some wedding things?
I don't know if we can learn you wedding things, but we can maybe give you some things not to do, some things to do.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
No such, you hear this a lot, but I mean, it's just a given. You know the 6 words you must learn, right?
No. I don't.
I thought it was about the neighbor.
I was wrong. I am sorry.
That will go well.
Yeah, that's
How
right.
often do you say that on a weekly basis?
On a week, well, the longer you are married, hopefully you say them less because you learn what you're doing wrong.
Gotcha.
So, you try to get better with that.
I am wrong. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say, I am wrong. You are right. That's what I thought.
Well,
you were gonna say.
that's not bad either. That's not.
You got one to eat?
Man, there's so much. I'd just be cautious about questioning your wife's choices. There's going to be some things that she says, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Just be cautious in how you answer that. And remember that she chose you.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
well, and honestly,
That's strong.
I think that is a great point. But one of the things that I've learned, and I don't know, answer a question with a question. Like when they say, what do you think about that? It's
great.
good to say, well, what do you think? Well, see, it puts it back on them, so you're not pigeonholed.
well, it's kind of one of those things where, someone actually.
Got a little hint.
Off stage, they didn't like that.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. Maybe this helps. Someone helped me out with this years ago when, and this is with kids, but I'm sure it translates into marriage. But your kids will come up to you and they will have, this piece of artwork, and they'll say, "Daddy, what do you think about this?" And you'll say, you don't want to say, what is that, okay? Because you, as the dad, should know. And so you should say instead, why don't you tell me a little bit about this?
There you go.
That's
See?
good.
So I'm just trying to help you in some way that should translate. I don't know that, even as you do premarital counseling and all those things, there's certain things that you're just not prepared going into it, like the amount of time that you will spend just back and forth over the thermostat. Things like that.
Toilet paper.
Right.
No sandpaper.
Now, are you toilet paper? Are you the traditional way, or are you like the barbarian way that goes underneath?
When you grab it?
Yeah, so you can roll and it can come out the backside, or it turns around.
I probably should. I should have rephrased. Yeah. I meant when it's on the roll. Okay.
You never know what you're going to get here on the Wednesday night.
Are you talking about when you take it off the roll?
That's good.
But yes, I know what you're saying. Woo, you got me there.
Well, and I really do think a big thing to learn is, and to realize, maybe that's a thing, instead of learning, realizing that everybody, no matter how well you know each other, you have different cultures that you come from. And so something that might be important to you might not have been important in her family, vice versa. Something that might be really important to her, it might not be have been that big a deal in your family growing up. And so you have to be you got to watch those things. Yeah.
Wow, that was some serious
That
advice.
was. We were going all lighthearted, but I dropped some good knowledge there.
That was solid.
All right, so we're looking off camera. Y'all have anything back there?
Let me check the audience
up in the top.
Yeah, nobody up there.
Nobody in the studio
receiving
audience.
anything?
Yes.
My speaker seems to be broke.
Oh, okay.
But we're excited for you. We
Oh,
really
yeah.
are. It's going to be a great time, and that's coming up this weekend.
This Sunday.
And I know Josie's excited as well. We're excited about having her to be part of our Trinity family. And y'all are going on a honeymoon to out west, I think.
Yes, to visit the mountains in Colorado.
Man.
That'd be fun.
My goal is to rent a snowmobile. I don't know if Josie will let me, but that's my goal. I wanna get on
And we're
a
going to be
snowmobile.
praying that you come back with all
Your limb.
all your limbs
Wow.
working.
Seems
Yeah.
like it'd be fun.
Because I could see you seeing a hill and wanting to jump it.
Yeah, or a tree,
Yeah.
and not missing it. There's a lot of potential back there.
Well, we just want you to know that even after you get married, we are here for a plethora of knowledge.
There's a lot more than just that
Yes.
little nugget that we get.
Yeah, that's right.
I will be asking for advice. I guarantee the week I get back.
There you go. There you go. Well, just a little bit of love and marriage. And by the way, you know we have some big news. We've
What's the news?
We've got some
Let me
real-
tell you, right here. Let's just go ahead and we'll tell everybody. Do you want to go ahead and tell them?
Well,
Big
but
news is what
Well,
I'm
but-
reading.
Yes.
We
do you want
really-
to tell them what the big news is?
hang on.
Hold on.
We got. I think we're going to go to the Gospel Rewind.
Well, let's do the gospel project.
Well, okay. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on Love and Marriage. Congratulations. We love you, and be praying for Hector as he heads into a great weekend, a great time in your life, brother. We love you very much.
Yep. I'll see you.
Love and marriage. I hope that we were able to give Hector a gift.
Yeah.
You know, something that he can take with him. I like to,
Yeah.
open hand
Yeah,
that he can
absolutely.
take with him, and
Yeah.
just remember as it gets tough.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me be a little gracious with the thermostat every once in a while.
Yes.
But we did get some more advice
Yeah.
from our on-staff marriage expert, Amy Long. Been married, 35, 40 years or so?
Well, I think
Bringing it to
Kevin started dating her.
14, 15 years old or so is when she, they don't do things the way that they used
Yeah,
to.
absolutely.
But what was it that Amy was telling us? We're making all these jokes, and
well,
now I can't think of the
well,
advice
she's-
that she gave to
Well, she said. By the way, that's another part of advice. Listen.
Listen and pay attention.
Yeah. Well, she was just saying, don't ever say, don't ever say that's not the way Mom used to do it.
Right.
Which, by the way, makes me think of a poignant story.
Okay.
And that's,
How long is this story? Do you want to tell it?
Well, I'll tell it, and if it's too long, we'll just cut it.
We'll cut it out.
You'll never know. But a guy got married, and so when he got married, his wife made breakfast for him the first day, and scrambled eggs, fruit, toast, everything was beautiful, and he ate it, and he said, "Man, this is delicious, honey, but it's just not the way Mom used to make it." So the next day, she made, fried eggs and did some grits and gravy and biscuits, and he ate it. And, man, this is delicious, but it's just not how Mom used to make it. So the third day, she just got totally frustrated and burnt the eggs, burnt the toast, smashed the fruit, threw it all on the plate, and he ate it up, and he said, "Now that's the way Mom used to make it."
But we're not saying anything about our moms out
No.
there, right? We're
No.
just,
No, but there are those times, and Hector needs to realize this. When you have kids and stuff, sometimes it's not a beautiful set plate. Sometimes it's grab and go.
Sometimes you have to do what you've got to do. Right?
That's right.
And even when it comes to breakfast. So we appreciate that little bit of advice
Yes.
from Amy as
Yes,
well.
absolutely. It helps us, be better.
It does.
And-
It does.
and
I
listen.
feel more grown now that I know that. Yeah. I feel like we matured.
Yeah, that's right. All the different things you learn here on the Wednesday night show.
That's right. That's right. So, here we go.
Okay,
You ready?
are we ready?
Let me get my touch screen here.
Oh.
We got some big news.
Uh-huh.
All right. We have been waiting
We
to
have.
get to this point.
I know.
And I want to inform all of our audience out
Well,
there.
hang on. Before you do that, we haven't done the Gospel Project Rewind yet.
That is true.
And so why don't we do that and
Put that on hold for just a
See
minute.
if I can do that.
How cool is this?
Is that not neat?
Touch screen.
Yeah, and we'll do the big news after this.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pack,
this is
pack
a
it
way.
away.
There you
Until
go.
we get ready for
and,
it.
This is a way maybe we just keep people hanging on the edge of their seat.
I feel like yes, other people have done this before.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But if you have your Bibles, we invite you to take them out and turn to 2 Corinthians 11 and 12. Kind of take a look there as we're looking at identity and looking at Paul here. And as he kind of faces some different things of encouraging the people to hold fast to the gospel. Actually, that's kind of the first point there in the Gospel Project. But he's kind of defending his ministry in chapter 10, and in chapter 11, he's kind of talking to these false prophets. And so even as they're referred to in verse 5 as these kind of super apostles that they're sounding ultra spiritual, but he comes and kind of lays out, hey, look, let me tell you what I have gone through. And ultimately kind of what we shared, what we talked about on Sunday, is in the midst of everything that was going on, for Paul to really understand that it's all about Jesus Christ and who he is. And so it's just a great text as we see the things that he encountered. And, I wonder, maybe what some of the thoughts that you have initially.
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about, we actually discussed in another take of this, and which shows, hey, we don't do this perfectly, okay?
Right.
Sometimes it takes us 10 or 15 times to get through this,
or 100.
But you mentioned in that just Paul's love for this church. Now, you can go back and read 1 Corinthians. You can go through 2 Corinthians. You can see that this church has got problems. People are. People have problems.
Right.
But yet Paul loves them, and he is so concerned for them, and he's concerned for their well-being. And I think that's just to kind of set the conversation, is that's where he's coming from. Whereas there might be, well, not that there might be, but there were others that had infiltrated the church that maybe were just attempting to use the church, for their own personal gain. But Paul loves this church. He's concerned for their well-being. Even as you start here in chapter 11, and you get to verse 2, he says, I'm jealous for you.
Right.
I've got a godly jealousy for you because I have promised you in marriage to one husband. And so it's almost like Paul is setting up this image of him being the father and taking his daughter, as walking her down the aisle, wanting to present the church, the bride of Christ, to the bridegroom, Jesus, and to present her pure and faithful to him, because there's others that he are trying to lead them astray. They're trying to make them unfaithful to Christ. And he goes on to say there's others that are coming, and they're trying to preach to you a different Jesus, a different spirit, a different gospel. And we know that those things don't exist. They're not real.
Right.
They're not saving, and that's why Paul loves these Corinthian church members so much, that he is trying to tell them that there are others who have here's the word, nefarious, who have nefarious plans or intentions to lead you astray from this true gospel that this is what we've been talking about the past few weeks. We talked about first how the gospel has changed our life, looking at the conversion of Paul. And then last week we've talked about living out that identity, even as we looked at Colossians chapter 3. And now Paul is trying to remind these people, hey, hold tightly to that true gospel. Because there's not only is there obstacles, but there's even a work that's happening out there. Satan disguises himself as an angel of light.
Yeah, verse 14.
That's
there,
right.
chapter 11.
And there are even his servants are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to make it look like it's Jesus and like it's gospel, but they're just in name only. It's not the real thing.
Well, and I love how you point out verse 2, because I think it changes how you look at Paul, because sometimes people look at Paul in the New Testament, he's very hard. Well, man, he's, almost kind of rough, but when you understand that his heart, it like you said, that he's taken this bride down the aisle to the groom, it's just like, I know we talked about Hector, and just in a few weeks, my daughter Tori, she's going to be getting married, but when you look at that, I change my view about my daughter. I mean, because it's personal. You have this love, you have this investment, you have, you think about Avery or Caroline, you have these years that you have poured into them, and you want to present them.
So I think that really, and what you just said, helps us to understand why he has such a great passion and concern, why he himself will even say over here in verse 28, now the Christian Standard says concern, but I know the ESV says anxiety. Right. Because of what of the gospel, the work that has been done there, and he wants to see them and see them complete that, or the Lord complete that in them and not be led astray. Right. And so I think that kind of shows us why he's then going to say, hey, tell you what, this is why I'm going to boast. because normally I would loathe boasting, you know, especially human boasting. But he says, this is why I'm going to get down to the level of these other people, is because I have such great concern and love for you. He even says, and you know, God is my witness, I love you. And whereas these other people are trying to take you away for their own purposes.
Yeah, and you know, even this Sunday when we talked about that anxiety concern, kind of looked at a little different angle of it, but I think it's so true what you're saying. He has this concern for them. There's this weight that he has that he's carrying around because of this love, and ultimately, you know, that's where he's relying on God's power, you know, even to share the gospel. He wants them to understand that it's Christ alone, and I think it's so comparable with our day to day where we're living in, because it doesn't take much to get even discouraged by looking at leaders in, you know, American Christianity or popular, what we would look at religious circles. But there again, man's going to let you down. But Jesus Christ and the gospel it's not just a part of what we're talking. It is everything of what, you know, the cornerstone is Jesus Christ.
Well, before we get to, I guess, kind of the peak of, you know, even 2 Corinthians and what Paul is going to say his boast is in.
Right.
You know, something that just kind of stuck out here is verse 3 of chapter 11. He says, I fear that as the serpent deceived Eve by his cunnings, that your minds may be seduced from a sincere and pure devotion to Christ. And it's almost like, you know, as he's thinking about this bridal image of the Father and, you know, taking his daughter to, you know, to be received by Christ, that just quite naturally this image of, you know, the first human bride and even how she was deceived by Satan. She was deceived by a false teacher. That's exactly what Satan is. And when she fell, you know, it wasn't so much that she was just beaten down by in submission by Satan, but he deceived her because he promised her on all these things that he could not deliver. Yeah. And that's what these false teachers are trying to do. They are promising these people something more than Christ. Yeah. Right. You know, it's the exact same thing we even talked a little bit about in Colossians last week, and just that struggle to do more. You know, it's Jesus plus. Well, that's not the gospel. The gospel is Jesus alone. And just to be reminded, to be that you know, Satan doesn't always say, you know, here's this huge road that you've got to walk. It's going to be hard, and I'm going to show you and make it apparent that this is a road of destruction. He's a deceiver, and he makes it look like, hey, this is actually a nice, you know, downward slope way. It's nice to walk on, but it's all lies and you know, destructions that's in. So
well, and I think that leads in so much to where Paul's at when he talks about when he's weak, he's strong. When he talks about his affliction, when he talks about that thorn in the flesh, that he's reminding people that, you know, there's these two things that I think sometimes we struggle through. There's this sense sometimes that we're very timid, like, can I ask God to do this in my life? And absolutely you can. God, you know, heals. He does miracles. He does these great things. But I think what Paul is saying is, when you're painted a picture that, you know, only, you know, if God is working as God works, only these great things are going to happen to you and you'll never go through any bad things. He's saying, no, like sometimes you're going to experience some really tough things, but the God that is doing all of these good things is the same God that will be with you and walk with you through persecutions.
Exactly right.
And I think it's such an encouragement to us, because it's so easy sometimes to, if I hear someone talk about, you know, hey, how something's going great in their life, and, you know, I don't have any problems, and I've got money, and I've got this, it's easy to sit back and say, okay, I must be in sin, or I must not be doing what I should be. And Paul's saying, no, yes, God does bless, but also sometimes God brings things in our life, but ultimately God's working for His glory through the gospel and not for our glory.
Right.
And sometimes that's hard to do that with our human minds and understand that.
Well, Paul talks about this thorn, and it really it's true. Just what you said. Ironically, it turned around the argument of his opposers, those who were trying to preach something else, because the very thing that his opponents pointed to say, hey, this should disqualify you because you're weak, and it is the very thing that God was using, that actually empowered him and that actually gave evidence of God's approval and authority on him. And, that's one of the, again, so many times that we see throughout Scripture about how, weakness is, it's sometimes to us in our natural self, it doesn't make sense that, but God uses weaknesses for a display of His power and glory, and that's exactly what He does in the life of Paul. And now, did Paul enjoy this thorn? Absolutely not. This was not something he was like, I'm excited about this, because he tells us
he's like,
he prayed that the Lord would take it away. Kind of reminds me even of Jesus in Gethsemane. He prayed that the Lord would take that away. But the thing that we need to take to heart is that, whenever God says no, and that's, what we have here. Whenever God says no, even in our desperate pleadings, because that's where Paul is here. This was something that was whatever it was. If it was opposition, some people have speculated maybe it's some type of disability. We don't know.
By the way, that was a question I got asked this week. Hey, what do you think that thorn in the flesh was?
And we can, there's all different things. We at the end of the day, we don't know. But when God says no, the no is given in His perfect, His wise, His goodness, and His love, because ultimately it is going to be the best route. It is going to be the way that brings us the most blessing and that brings God glory, as you just said a minute ago. And I think those are things that we need to be reminded of even as we go through times of suffering, affliction, periods where we just don't, it's kind of one of those why questions, is that, why do I still have this trouble that I'm dealing with, or why is this, thing still kind of going through, is that the Lord may be working through those things. And for Paul, the answer that came directly to him is, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness.
Yeah. Man, what a great words.
I think that the point of the letter is right when he goes on to say, for when I am weak, then I am strong. It's like this paradox of power. Weakness comes before power. The cross came before the resurrection, and that's true in Paul's life, and he celebrated that. He didn't celebrate the thing that was afflicted him. He celebrated what the Lord was doing in his life, and that's the reason he's boasting. He's not saying, it's not me. I'm not boasting in all, like everybody else. I'm not boasting all my achievements and whatnot. It's the Lord and what He's doing in and through me.
Well, and I think that's a great reminder, even as we kind of end tonight, is, we've talked about this, even the past several weeks as we've talked about Paul, when he says, the things that I should do, I find myself not. The things I shouldn't do, I find myself doing. I think it comes back to say, hey, look, that's the greatness of the gospel of Jesus Christ, that He would take someone like me in my physical infirmities and all the things that I've done in my past. He would transform that, and He would get glory to further the kingdom of Jesus Christ. And we know that God greatly used Paul,
absolutely,
not just back in the New Testament, but even today through the gospel and his writings. That's the great power of Jesus Christ.
That was like a brief skim over the top of the. I'd encourage everyone. Go this week. Even as you go through the Gospel Project this week, there's those daily devotions. But walk through chapters 10, 11, 12, 13 here in 2 Corinthians, and what a wonderful. Before we finish up.
Oh, okay.
Before we finish up.
Yes.
We've got some.
Oh,
Do we want to come back to that here in just a moment?
Well, Do we, or do we want to?
I think we do. I think we want to come back. Let's take a break.
Okay, let's take a break.
Prepare ourselves.
Prepare ourselves. You prepare
We are
yourself.
we are going to prepare.
Should we go like a black screen, or we should have some calming music? Because it's like people are going to. Maybe you need to go and sit down and get ready for this big news.
Big news.
Big news.
It's coming your way here in just
a few
one
seconds.
moment. So we'll be right back.
5, 4.
What are you doing?
I'm counting down
I
to
know
the big news.
Okay. Well, hold up just a second. Are we ready to do the big news?
Yeah, are you ready?
Well, I've been waiting the whole show. You see big news where it started?
I know. Here we go.
My goodness.
Are you ready? Okay, here we go.
Let me find my notes again.
You ready?
Hang on.
You at the big news?
It's such big news
I know.
that I have to find what
That's
it
right.
is.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3. You know, I had big news once before at a ministry I was at, and it was so contagious. People could just feel the excitement. Can you feel the excitement? Can you feel the energy?
My palms are getting sweaty right
Are they?
now.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Either that or it's really hot in
Yeah,
this
that's
room.
right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Do you think people can really comprehend how big of news
I'm
this
just kind of wondering at this point if people are even still watching.
Here we go. All right, here we go. This is it. 5,
Count it down with us.
4, 3, 2, 1. Let's celebrate.
Well, I really thought that would be a lot more eventful.
Yeah, I thought that's.
Well, hey, look,
Let's
it's still
celebrate
celebrating.
the big news.
Here we go. We're
Of
back.
Sunday school is going to be back on Sunday, March 21st at 9:15. And look, man, I've been looking forward to that. We've had questions about that forever. And
We're still celebrating.
yeah, you know, I wonder if we have some more of those little poppers. Can y'all throw one of those? Can we get one of those poppers?
Yeah, because
in?
we've got some other big
Yeah,
news.
we also have some other big news.
And watch where you shoot that.
Yeah, you ready for the other big news?
Yes. Yes, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting a popper.
Okay.
Do you see how?
Yeah, because we got to change
right.
the screen. Like, let's
Okay,
maybe
so let's go. I'm being instructed to do this.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess I have it.
Yeah,
right.
and are you ready?
We're gonna find out. Well, first of all,
Okay.
hey, Sunday school's back.
Yeah, Sunday school back.
March 21st, all ages.
All ages.
We're still going to do everything that we can to have a great environment for that.
And we're even working on a couple of different age groups adding.
That's right, adding some new
but
classes.
You'll have to stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that in the weeks ahead.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Here, you ready for our next news?
Next.
1, 2, 3.
And it is Wednesday night activities pack, March 24th at 6 o'clock. And we're going to kind of open that up with a few things. We'll have children's ministries. We'll be back on that night. Of course, students is already meeting. We will have our men's group that will be back, and then our women's Bible study will also be back. So those will be the things that we will start back on March 24th. And we'll have more information about that online coming up and sharing that.
Well, we're just excited, you know, that we've been talking about this for a while,
Yes.
and you know, we're thankful to the Lord that you know the numbers in our area look better, and you know the vaccinations are ongoing, and so we're not distracted at all.
This
you know,
is not good for someone with ADD.
I feel like you could refill these things.
You probably could and do that
again.
You know, I will say this though. Everybody's like, man, y'all are like two kids in a candy shop. But you know, with good news and great news and big news, sometimes there comes some sad news too.
Unfortunately, we do have some sad news. This is the point of the program where we switch over to black and white, and it zooms in, and we give the sad.
But maybe we just hold that off till next week, because this is such good news. We don't want to ruin that. But
you want to just wait on that?
Yeah, we'll just wait.
Okay.
Till next week.
Well,
A little bit of sad news, but it might be even better news for those who watch our show. But anyway, hey, thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to groups getting back on Sunday morning and also on Wednesday night. And we're watching the numbers, still staying safe. But if you have any questions, give us a call at the church. or you can visit us online at tbctrinity.org. We hope you have a great night. We're praying for you. We love you. Have a great week.
Is this ever gonna end? Confetti, really? I'm so tired of